What's going on? It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the Boxing Clinic. Talking about Anthony Joshua in this little situation. Um, they're waiting, for Wladimir Klitschko to see if he's going to take his rematch clause with Anthony Joshua. Klitschko was a good negotiator in his contract because I don't know how a challenger, who is no longer the undisputed heavyweight champion coming into this fight, gets a rematch clause in his contract. You know what I mean? I really not familiar with seeing that. But he said he's going to make a decision in 2 weeks. So Eddie Hearn and I'm going to sit back and wait. I'm going to give my opinion if that rematch happens. But meanwhile, if the IBF actually granted Anthony Joshua a voluntary only for Pulev. Before this fight, it was feared that when Anthony Joshua won, they might have to drop the IBF title. Because he would have to rematch Wladimir Klitschko, or he would have to do something else, or if he wanted to do something else, they were just going to hold the WBA title. But now the IBF has made it clear that we give you voluntary Klitschko. If Klitschko does want to come back and get a rematch, they're gonna be able to keep the belt. And then he'd go, if Klitschko is wise, he won't take that rematch. He'd turn around and face Pulev. Now, Pulev is a guy, he just beat Kevin Johnson like a couple weeks ago, I think it was. He split decision, Chisora, unanimous decision over Tony Thompson. Got knocked out by Klitschko, was his only loss. He has a, impressive resume by heavyweight standards. You know what I'm saying? And, it's a fight. I guess it's I don't know. I don't give a fuck about the fight. Like I said, in my other Anthony Joshua or heavyweight videos, the heavyweight division has some momentum now. Now, these guys want to hold the momentum now. Then, the sanctioning bodies jumping in, fucking shit up, making Wilder fights to burn. Now they're making a mandatory defense versus, Eddie Hearn's going to make him, Joshua get a mandatory defense, or IBF, however it go, versus Pulev if Klitschko doesn't opt for the rematch clause. And, they're not capitalizing those momentum. All them top 4 or 5 guys need to be fighting each other. Luis Ortiz is mandatory. He won't step aside. And he wants a shot at the WBA title. And it don't look like he won't get a shot till next year. That's if they fight him and keep the WBA title. But that WBA is going to let Joshua hold that title and let him string that shit out. So Luis Ortiz is in a tough pickle. He's 38 years old. By the time he get that shot, he might be about 40. No telling if that's his real age either. So just looking at the situation, like, he really losing this situation. He's getting jerked around. He was supposed to fight Wladimir Klitschko for the #1 mandatory defense to Deontay Wilder's belt. Wladimir Klitschko opted not to take that fight after the Povetkin fallout. Then Ortiz, then they just let him get a walk to a Wilder fight. Now, Ortiz is getting jerked around Anthony Joshua. Just a year ago, this was the guy, Luis Ortiz, people were saying this was the most feared man in the division. He was the big bag king. He'd beat anybody. And now that Joshua got a little popularity for beating Klitschko, that was something that just happened. Klitschko's last fight, he got beat already. People are turning on Luis Ortiz, saying he's old, he's not this, he's not that. The same fans that was pumping his head up and, asking why Wilder wasn't fighting him. Now they're giving Anthony Joshua a pass for not fighting him. So at the end of the day, a duck is a duck. He took the easier challenge in Pulev, even after he was talking about dropping that title, the IBF title. Hopefully the WBA makes him drop that title and Luis Ortiz can get his shot versus the #2 contender for that title, because at the end of the day, these fighters are pussies, man. I'm sorry. Like, these guys taking the easy way out. Pulev been knocked out by a guy you just knocked out. Other than that, he ain't did shit spectacular either. I will say Pulev has the better resume than Luis Ortiz, but I'm pretty sure if they had squared up in the square circle, Luis Ortiz would give him a 2-piece in the biscuit and knock his ass out, at this point. Probably with one hand, But like I said, these guys are going to end up halting that heavyweight division momentum. Joshua's going to string out a Wilder fight. He's going to string out a Luis Ortiz fight as long as he can. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's why, people lost interest in the heavyweight division as well. And they're going to lose it again if these guys don't fight each other. But we gone.